Alright, you lot, welcome back. Yesterday there was the big Warhammer Summer Preview. Those 4 words, but perhaps in a different order. It's fine, we know what it was, and there's been a bunch of reveals that we're going to cover over the next few days, and we're starting with 40k. Specifically with the Orcs, because the Orcs have had a fair bunch of new kits recently, especially in the run-up to the Armageddon box, and now they've got a new truck as well. Which, I just want to say, the thumbnail for that video is fantastic. Well done, whoever made that. I love it. Now, as for the truck itself, I mean, am I supposed to not thoroughly enjoy this? Is that what we're going for? Because it's impossible. I have to. This just looks like something out of Mad Max, which, to be fair, there's definitely been a lot of, like, Mad Max inspiration behind the Orc vehicles that have come out over the last few years. I'm just glad they're sticking with it, because they all look fantastic. Like, they all look great, and the truck being updated to reflect that sort of, again, more sort of Mad Max style design. I mean, I have to love this because it looks fantastic. Just as a side note, really happy that they're doing a carousel for this. They didn't need to. They could have just stuck one picture in there and I think most of us would have been like, oh, cool, new truck. But getting a bunch of different details and different views across it, much better, much preferable. Also, I'm immediately wondering, having scrolled down, is that a different blower on top? Or is that not a blower, but is in fact gun? No, that is still a blower. Wait, it is a different blower. That's fun. Also, I say blower. I think technically it's a scooper, isn't it? The blower is actually the supercharger, but the scoop is the bit that forces the air in. Whatever, it's fine. It looks good. That's the thing that's important. I love it. I really like it. I love the configuration on the exhaust. That's very fun. I like the fact that you can see the fuel tanks just strapped to the side. Again, really nice touch. I want to see the other side of the truck before we declare that that's some sort of V8, because you never know, there could be 3 exhausts, or maybe even 5, or 1 coming out the other side, but, you know, I think probably it's a safe bet, right? The grille looks fantastic. I love the fact there's 2 different headlights. That's just fun. It's just a fun little detail. And the massive buzzsaw sticking over the edge on that crane arm is delightfully orky. In a weird way, this is making me think of, there was an army, we did a video on it way back, way back, about a like fully customized orc army way back in the day that was made from a bunch of different like toy cars and remote control cars and stuff. And this, I'm actually getting that kind of vibe from this. Like, even though this is obviously an official model, there is something about it that's really like making me think of, I think it was Tanks Mob, I think it was called. I'll have to dig the video out, but yeah, it's kind of making me think of that a little bit in a good way, like in a very good way, because it looks fantastic. This is, I think, one of the best redesigns that I've seen from the Orcs, which is saying something because I've had a bunch of really cool stuff recently. And again, them bringing this in line with all the other vehicles that they did, however many years ago that was, I can't actually remember now. But, like, this feels thematically appropriate. It feels like it fits with the rest of them. The old truck was absolutely fine. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with the old one. But, for me, this feels a bit chunkier. It feels a bit hardier. And, yeah, I don't know. I'm really liking this one. Little things like the scoop, the blower on top being different between the two. The fact you can have this big sort of orc face shield along with the tusks. Just little bits of customization like that. I really like it. Also, the grabber on that version looks fantastic. I hadn't even noticed that before, but yeah, it looks great. Plus, I think there's a railing there because you've got a gunner on the other side. So, actually being able to make these look significantly different from one to the other, or if not significantly different, then at least different enough, you know? Something else that I really like about this, by the way, this kit can even have its front axles positioned in different ways to lean the whole chassis so you can depict your truck careening into a high-risk turn or simply charging full speed ahead. No two need look alike. I would argue that actually this truck is perfectly fine how it is, but they have added that extra layer of customization. Like when you're fielding a few of these, not many people, I don't think, are going to be sitting there going, well, I mean, I do like it, but I do wish that on this specific one, the wheels were turned slightly to the left or something like that. But they've done that anyway, and I quite like the fact they've put that much care and attention into it. This is something of a running theme as well, by the way, when it comes to the Orcs, which we'll get to in a moment. But before then, we've got ourselves this lad, the mech. I love the portable crane on the back of the mech. That is absolutely fantastic. I don't know. There's something about that I really like. The whole thing is solid. The tool belt, you got that big wrench hanging off the back there. He's got a wrench in hand as well. The gun looks like half gun and half plasma cutter, or at least welder of some sort. It's very fun. It's a very fun design. I really like it. Also, the fact that his like visor there is like more of a welding mask than anything else. Yeah, this is good. This is good. That's a good looking lad. That is a good looking lad right there. Now, as I alluded to a moment ago, the shortest foreshadowing of all time, they also showed off the war boss. Again, but we've already seen the war boss, so is it that interesting? Well, actually yes, because it turns out his entire head is built from your choice of 4 upper parts and 4 jaws for a total of 16 different combinations. Now, on the one hand, I feel like that is going to be fiddly as hell to put together, but it does give that extra layer of customization again, and it's nice to see that coming back so that you've actually got a good amount of choice when it comes to these things. I really like that they're doing this, and they're just doing a little bit more to make stuff a bit more unique, a bit more separate, a bit more interesting. Right now, I could quite happily go for just that guy. That guy would be fine. The big metal jaw, it's peak orc, we love it. I can't get enough of the big metal jaw. But, doesn't have to just have a bare head on top, because according to the carousel here, he could potentially have a big metal jaw and a fancy hat. Now, that by itself is class. I love that. Obviously, they haven't put all the options here, which is kind of a shame. I actually would have quite liked that, but maybe they were just like, we are not, printing and painting all of those. Absolutely no way. It's just a nice thing to have. It's that little bit of extra detail. It's that little bit of extra care, which sometimes can feel a little bit lacking when it's like, okay, you've got a choice of 2 heads and that's it. This is different. This feels like they've put a good amount of attention into this model, just like with the truck. Codex Orcs, by the way, is going to be the first codex of the new edition of 40k, so that's pretty fun, like that. And they're promising more lore and gaming content than ever before. Plus things like the in-depth information about all the faction units with the return of bestiary-style lore entries. This is a big claim. It's possibly the most orc lore in one place ever. That is quite the statement to make. Now, if like me, you had a vague hope for a second there that maybe the codexes are moving more into the like lore and army building and, painting side of things and moving away from rules a little bit, perhaps indicating that they might do something a bit more accessible for the rules. No, the opposite seems to be true. Again, Codex will include a code, which not only unlocks the book's rules content in the 40k app, but will also give you access to quarterly drops of rules and lore all the way through the edition. So the way that they seem to be using the app, and I guess to an extent Warhammer Plus, since that supplements the app with, more army rosters and the like, they seem to be trying to make it better value by making it so that you simply get more for putting the code in than just buying the codex, because then you get extra stuff throughout the edition, which I'm not surprised, but it is a step further away from what a lot of other companies are doing, which is making the game more accessible by making the rules free, which is ideally what I'd like to see. But I mean, what are the chances of seeing that? Like, really, genuinely, what are the chances of Games Workshop doing that? Kind of slim. It's just kind of a shame, Anyway, they also mentioned standalone Armageddon units. So we've got the Weird Boys, the Dakarigs, the War Tracks. Those will all be available separately, with the Big Boss, Bannonob, and Pain Boy in a box as part of the Armageddon command crew. My assumption is that is down to sprue shenanigans. That's my guess, but that's what they've decided to do. I'm so uncomfortably warm. It's been really horrible in this room. I don't know whether you've been keeping up with the news, but there's been a heat wave in the UK and a good chunk of Europe over the last week. We've been absolutely blasted by the sun. And frankly, if I'd have been drinking water all that time, I would have been sick of it. But I wasn't. I was drinking holy. In fact, I've been drinking holy like a Scottish man drinks... In fact, I've been drinking holy like a Scottish man drinks beer whilst he's in the US for the World Cup. You might be thinking to yourself, that's something of a tortured analogy, Kirioth. Where's that come from? Well, that's because right now, if you get a starter set deluxe from Holy, you will get a free thermo shaker in either England or Scotland colours. Not only that, but if you use my code Kirioth at checkout, you will get the starter set deluxe for £54 as opposed to $59.99. Now, there's not just these fancy new thermo shakers, there's also 3 new flavours of Holy Hydration, which is what I've been absolutely guzzling this last week. There is the blueberry, which is delicious. I got a tub of that, and it's still going. It's still going. It was looking touch and go for a minute until I tried the apricot. I got a pack of 10 for that, the sachets. And you know what? I have one left. That is mostly from this week. That is how much I love that flavour. There is also green apple, which I haven't tried yet. I prepared this earlier. I'm going to give it a shake. A good proper shake. Dignified, as always. I'm going to give it a go right now. I've got high hopes because the other two, well, I've just been drinking them all week, literally. That is really good. I've got to stop. I'm just going to down it. I'm just going to down it right now. That's what's going to happen if I don't put that down. Just like the rest of Holy stuff, whether it's Holy Energy, Holy Hydration, Iced Tea, or Milkshake, these new flavours are 0 sugar, less than 20 kcals per serving, and less than £1 per serving. Check out Holy using the link in the description and the pinned comment down below. Remember to use code KIRIOTH5 for £5 off your first order, or code KIRIOTH for 10% off your order after that. And of course, use code KIRIOTH if you're picking up the Starter Set Deluxe today. Thanks, Holy. Now let's check out some Eldar Exodites. Yes, you did hear that correctly. Can you believe it? No, but seriously though, look. Eldari Exodites, whatever. They're here. They're a thing. They're an actual thing. What have been made. Now this is a kill team, but it's safe to assume that they will make their way to Warhammer 40k properly, I would have thought. Oh my god, I just can't believe they've done it. Finally, it's a thing that they've actually decided to commit to and make, and yes, please? Now, for the uninitiated, essentially, Exodites are Eldar, but wildlife. What? Am I wrong? Am I? Am I wrong? No, I'm not. Oh, look at that. An Eldari warrior riding around on a dinosaur. I mean, it's just class. It's just class all the way through. What more could you ask for? What more could you possibly ask for? Oh, boy. Now, I will say, there is a bit of Lizard Man about the dinosaur, but that could just be because the lizard men are dinosaurs. Sorry, Seraphon. Seraphon, not lizard men. I mean, they're lizard men. Seraphon. They're also dinosaurs, pretty much. So, I mean, the similarity is kind of expected. These look great, though. They are lithe. The scales are really nicely formed. I like the sort of jagged, spiky elements to them as well. Those are really nicely done. The claws, the talons on there look great. I really like the colour scheme they've gone for here as well. I really like it. It's super vibrant. The turquoise, like, really, really pops. And things like having that like, mask over the head, the helmet, that just adds a little something to it. It ties the rider and the mount together, I think. Also, the helmet and the saddle and stuff all look like Wraithbone. I'm assuming it is. It looks grand. Like, it really, really does. I think the pose is quite nice as well on this first one, on the clan blade. It's quite dynamic. The way the cloak is flapping out behind him looks great. You've still got the Eldari trappings there. Like, he's very clearly and obviously Eldari, but there is something a little bit different about it. Enough to differentiate, but not so different that you're like, I don't know what I'm looking at. Like, I don't know what faction this is. You can easily tell what faction it is. But still has a little bit of difference to it, which is really nice. I think the shield looks really good. Maybe a little bit small, but then it kind of gives the impression of being, again, quite light, quite lithe, quite dexterous as well. So I don't know that that's really a legit complaint. Also, is there a chaps situation going on here? Is there, like, proper cowboy chaps going on, or is that just the sort of posing that makes it look like that? We'll have to scroll on to the next lad and see, but that is, oh, it's fantastic. The Stone Singer is absolutely quality. That rules. That just flat out rules. I have really very little other than hell yeah to say about that. We've got the helmet, but with, like, those kind of stylized antlers sticking out. I mean, come on. Come on. Also, it's kind of mirrored with the head of the dino that is being ridden. This is the thing. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You stick a pair of antlers on any helmet, and it immediately looks better than it did before. It just does. I'm sorry. It's just one of those universal truths. You stick antlers on something, it immediately looks great. And this is an Eldari warrior that has got stylized, futuristic kind of antlers, but it's still got a bit of piercing and stuff going on. I can't not love this. It just looks fantastic. The staff looks great as well. Really like the staff. I like the gloves and the way you can see, like, the straps on the gloves and on the armor over the legs, on the greaves there, or the chaps, depending on what they actually are. The gun, the rifle there, slung over to the side. That looks fantastic. Again, good pose on the mount. Very good pose on the mount there. I really do like that crest that's coming out as well, just behind the head, sort of around the neck area. That looks fantastic. Oh, God. I think they've absolutely nailed these. I think they've absolutely nailed them. They look so good. Loving the hood on the Lay Stalker. Also, the kind of scaled sections on the gloves there looks fantastic. The fact that each of these lizardy lads have got slightly different heads is nice. It's good. I like it when they do that, just to give that extra bit of personality, just to differentiate a little bit more, give them just a bit of extra visual impact, have them be just a tiny bit different. Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. The pose on the Lay Stalker's mount makes it look absolutely hench. What is happening? Has that one been lifting? I don't know whether is it just me? Because that one looks quite lithe, still strong, but quite lithe. That one, especially from that angle, looks very slim. But then the Lay Stalker, I think it's just because it's sort of standing up straighter and it's leaning back a little bit. The arms are down and sort of more to the front than the sides. But it looks like it's got a massive chest and shoulders. It looks absolutely huge. What is going on there? I mean, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. It's all good. It looks great. But I was just like, oh my God, that guy, that lizard's been lifting is what's going on there. Again, great pose. Love a good aiming pose. The clothing is really, really good. The clothing is really good. The fact that it feels a lot more flowing and they overall look less armored, I like that. I like that a lot. I think, again, it kind of highlights a little bit of a difference in approach. Even if the armor is under there, like under the robes and under the cloth and these kind of wraps they've got, it just adds that, again, extra difference that I think works super well with these. I love them. Absolutely love them. There's also a couple of these lads, Dracolites. They look great. They just look great. Again, 10 out of 10. No notes. Little angry lizard boys. Absolutely quality. I do love the way the tails go into feathers as well. That's just a nice touch. Just a little bit of extra texture. Just something a bit different compared to the others. Makes them stand out nicely. Now, those were the Dragon Masters. These are Dragon Knights. It's a dual build kit, so you've got options. Oh, man. That lance is insanely cool. It might seem a little bit silly, and in fact, to me, it does seem a little bit silly, but I also don't care because it's a very fun, awesome idea to have an Exodite charging in with a lance. I just really like it. I think it's a great idea. Across all three of these, the lances are just a standout addition. From what I can see here, it looks as though the bodies are more or less the same. It is the head and weapons that are significantly different, but they are significantly different, and that's the thing. Also, the heads being different as well. Skipping the crest on one of them, skipping the Wraithbone helmet as well. That does add a significant shift in how these read. Yes, the bodies are the same. They are. But for my money, having that focal point of the head being markedly different does have an impact. Again, I really like these. I really like them. And also, the way that they've done the poses for the lances works super well. You've got two kind of waiting poses, and you've got a charging pose. Each one of them feels fully appropriate for the mount that they're on. So this is solid. This is real solid. So this box, it's not just the Exodites, you're also getting some orcs for them to fight against as well, which is not surprising. It'll be one of the bigger boxes. But my assumption is that eventually that will change, and it will be a case of you can buy the Exodites separately. I mean, it would be nice to buy them separately straight off the bat, but we know that's not how Games Workshop does stuff anymore. The fact is, they are doing Exodites. That by itself rules, and as such, I'm happy about it. Now, we do have something that technically you could class as not being 40k, but it is, because it's Custodes, and this is an interesting thing, not necessarily because of the miniatures, although the miniatures are cool, it's the fact that they have done something and acknowledged it. So, if we take a look at this box right here, the Custodes Support Battle Group, you will see that this box clearly states Warhammer the Horus Heresy and Warhammer 40,000. Now that's not just a thing they've done for the preview, that is what the box looks like when you pick it up in store. Or get it delivered to your house, whatever. They even acknowledge it right here. Yes, you did see that, right? This is the first box branded with both the Warhammer 40,000 and Warhammer the Horus Heresy logos. Elite warriors like these transcend eras after all. That, is frankly a very funny thing to read, given the effort they went to shift all the dreadnoughts and all of the tanks that you could use from the Horus Heresy and 40k for Space Marines into Legends, so that there was no crossover. That is one of those things where, once again, it feels like there is two different committees working not together, or at least reaching decisions that they then have to go back on. A big part of that, and something that has come up so many times, is Games Workshop trying to track specific targets or track sales for certain systems in specific ways. So you don't want to share things across different systems, because how do you know which one's doing better? How do you know which one is performing the best? You don't. You don't. If you're selling something that works for both AOS and Fantasy, how do you know which people are buying it for? If you're buying, a bunch of Contemptors to run in 40k, technically that's a Horus Heresy kit, so how do you track whether people are using it for Horus Heresy? So on and so forth. This is something that has come up quite a lot over the last few years, and is one of the kind of theories, at least, behind the splitting off of various factions to only be in a certain thing, even though they could easily be in both. I'm looking at you, poor beastmen who were in Age of Sigmar and then were in actually the old world, but actually started in Fantasy and then moved over to Age of Sigmar. What a storied life that range has had, but that is kind of an example, if you will, of that kind of thing. They've just now gone, well, Custodians are in both, so we'll just put both on the box. Now, obviously, that's no good for tracking which system people are buying them for, but it is a very simple solution that you would have thought could have been applied to so many things over the years, but were not. Instead, people bought loads of stuff and then were just told, yeah, you can't use it in that anymore. Sorry. Or it's going to Legends, so you can use it, but not in the format in which you wanted to use it. It took them a while, but they got there in the end, I guess, is the message. So we've got the Telemon Heavy Dreadnought, which looks fantastic because it is a Telemon Heavy Dreadnought, and they already looked fantastic to begin with. This one, I feel like a lot more ornamented than the Forge World Resin version. You've got all these tassels, all these dangly bits. I believe that is the technically correct term. And yeah, it looks great. Of course it does. It's a massive dreadnought. It's a massive golden dreadnought with a bunch of fancy filigree all over it. How is it ever not going to look good? We knew it would, because the Forge World one did as well. And I know, because I've got one. I love it. I mean, I already did, so why would I not like this one too? We also have the Gaia Falcon jet bikes, which again look fantastic, because the original resin versions did as well. It's the same mantra as before when it comes to this stuff. Obviously, this is better. It's plastic, so it's cheaper, it's easier to work with, etc, etc, more available. We've been over this 1,000 times. The continued move of Horus Heresy from a bunch of fiddly resin to easy to produce and easy to put together plastic is good. There's also the Palace Grav-attack as well, which I always thought was the Grav-attack tank, but I guess not. It states very clearly the Palace Grav-attack is a blisteringly fast hunter-killer. I mean, yeah, it looks fast. It also looks weirdly small. I've always felt it looks weirdly small, but then again, I guess if it's more of a dedicated sort of sprint around the battlefield hunting tanks, then it doesn't need to be giganto. But also I love the weapon names. The Arachnus Blaze Cannon, or the Twin Elastus Accelerator Fusel. Really feels like they go ham on some of these names, which I'm a fan of. I like them. There's also a new Journal Tactica Prospero Burns, The Judgment of Valdor. What a long title. But that is to go along with your new Warhammer 40,000 purchases. Anyway, that is the new stuff for Warhammer 40k / a bit of Horus Heresy as well. The wonders of putting two logos on the same box. Will they ever cease? There's also some new starter sets, which we will go over at a later date once I've taken a better look at them. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much to Holy. Remember to check them out using the link in the description and the pinned comment. Get in there before the World Cup is over. Let me know what you thought of all that lot in the comments down below. There is a new episode of Acceptable Losses out which you should check out, and I will see you for the next one.